Representative Orcutt, it's day 39 of the 60-day legislative session. Yesterday was House of Origin cutoff. Tell us a little bit about this deadline and what it means for the legislative process.
So bills get introduced in the House and they get introduced over in the Senate. And we have deadlines to try and get things out because any bill that goes through the House has to also go through the Senate for their approval. So what this does is it just gives us some timelines that we have to meet so that the other chamber has some time to actually give thorough consideration to the bills we send over there and the bills they send over to us.
What have been some of the highlights of the first two-thirds of the legislative session?
I think the biggest highlight has been one that has been so important to homeowners or landowners that want to build a home, and that was fixing the problems that were created by the Hearst decision. And obviously getting the capital budget out was huge. That was something that I'm really disappointed didn't happen last year. Both of those things should have been done by last April, and I was disappointed that they weren't. But I'm very pleased that we were able to get the agreement on the Hearst solution and an agreement on capital budget so we could get both of those passed and out to the benefit of the citizens of this state. I'm disappointed at some things that haven't gotten done. One of the disappointments I have is 2749, which is a bill that I introduced to try and get more infrastructure out into the rural areas to get broadband out to those rural areas. A lot of people in the rural areas are struggling for jobs. And one of the things that often happens is they start their own business. And if it's not a retail business, if it's some sort of a service sector business, they're probably going to do it out of their own home. And in order for them to do it out of their home, they really need good quality internet access. They need broadband out there. And I'm disappointed that my bill didn't come out of the Technology Committee. I'm hopeful that maybe there are some fiscal implications to that bill that will give it a chance to come out before the end of session. But I'm really disappointed that hasn't come out. There was a lot of excitement around that bill when I introduced it, and I really thought that it had some momentum. So I'm hoping that enthusiasm picks up later. I'm disappointed that the focus seems to be on environmental types of bills, carbon and carbon tax and that sort of thing, and not enough on like House Bill 2653, which would extend the sales tax exemption for electric vehicles, because that actually gets us some of those carbon reductions that they keep saying they want. So I'd rather we focus on bills that actually get us there than bills that say you'd better get there, or we're going to tax you if you don't. And those seem to be the types of bills that are passing instead of the ones that actually help us get there.
As ranking Republican on the House Transportation Committee, you are directly involved with writing the supplemental transportation budget. Can you explain what this budget funds and where we are at with this process?
Yeah, the transportation budget actually is a whole host of different things. It's our roads and bridges, it's transit, it's ferries, it's state patrol, it's Department of Licensing. So there's a pretty broad area that affects the citizens that this budget covers. Obviously, all of the projects that have been approved out of the various different tax packages, those are rolled into the budget. So the revenue we're getting from those tax packages and the projects that have been promised, we're working to make sure that we keep those on track. Sometimes having to make adjustments if a project gets delayed or if a project is ahead of schedule, that sort of thing, we can make adjustments to keep those projects moving as quickly as we can and getting that benefit to the citizens. We're funding State Patrol to make sure that we've got troopers out there that in case something happens, we've got somebody there to help get an accident scene investigated and cleared as quickly as possible to keep traffic moving, to go after those people that are endangering the public. That's very important to maintain the safety of our roads. So there's a whole host of things that are happening there. I've been meeting throughout the session with the chair of the Transportation Committee, working on the budget requests and trying to get a budget put together, and we're very close to having that done, and hopefully we'll be releasing that soon to get it moving through the process so that we can get a supplemental budget and get out of here on time.